The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 3. Chapter 12. Mock. You cast your first spell on Rock when he was born. This scrawny little runt could barely breathe, let alone suckle on his mother's teat. You had helped Ernog and your mother nurse many direwolf pups before, but in Rock, there was an innate connection that you couldn't fully comprehend. You cradled him in your arms as he shivered and whimpered for warmth. Your family advised you solemnly to end the pup's suffering, but you refused. And in the stormy hours of the night, as you held him, you felt the presence of a watchful guardian draping a soft shawl over your shoulders. You grasped it around your fingers and swaddled Rock with it, listening to the howling winds outside. As you hummed little affirmations, his eyes opened to you with curiosity, as though he understood you, and when he whimpered back, you realized you understood him. "I know life is hard, Mock," your father used to say, "but that is what it means to be an orc. When Grumsh was cursed, so were we. And now we struggle, and we ache, and we fight for better fates. All we can strive for is one more day. Live until tomorrow. And tomorrow, you'll be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. In Grumsh's honor, I will not let this child cause our ruin so long as I live," Elder Lasha once declared. "Mock, you are our future, our survival." You stand before this creature made of flowers, so alien and yet familiar at the same time. She widens her stance, pulling out a hooked wooden staff, a wreath attached to the end. "You are late, little brother, and you have brought friends with you. I've been awaiting your return." She smiles at you, nodding once. You glance at Bach. "You know her?" you say. "I think so," says Bach. "Who are you?" Miley asks. "I am the guardian of this field. Like many other dryads, I serve Sylvanos in maintaining these lands." She waves her staff, and the grasses extend to your knees and waist, blooming tiny white flowers. She studies Bach's face. "Do you not remember how we first met?" Bach shakes his head. "I was awoken by a disturbance in these very fields. When I emerged, you were weeping. You were much smaller then. I came to you and asked why you wept, and I noticed then how the weave clung to you. You told me you were lost, and when you waded into the flowers they spoke to you, but the voices were too loud for you to bear. You cried because you thought you were trampling them." Bach scratches his head, scrunching his nose as he squeezes his eyes shut. Still, he shakes his head. "I'm sorry," he says. "I don't remember many things." The guardian smiles. "We played a game to help you pass the time." She flicks her wrist, and a purple flower sprouts and bends toward her hand. She plucks it cleanly and rests it on her head. "It was a simple game. If you could take the flower off my head, I would give you a gift." "Oh," says Bach. "Did I win?" The guardian giggles. "Unfortunately, you were not quite proficient enough. But I told you to return to me when you were ready to try again. And now that you are older, I would like to play this game once more. You bring others who are attuned to the weave as well." She peers at you. "Mistra's remnants look kindly upon you, little wolf, speaker of the winds." Then, turning to Maya Lee, she says, "And you have siphoned away some of Sylvanos' domain for yourself. You are yourself a young weaver." Maya Lee has cowered behind you and Bach, holding his hands. You peek at Bach, the only person who can make any real assessment of the situation, though he seems just as confused. The guardian doesn't seem to have any malicious intent, but you're unsettled by how she seems to already know you. "What's the catch?" you ask. "Why do you want to play?" A game is a game. Its purpose is to amuse and, to some extent, to teach. She smiles at Bach. "When we played, you learned how to turn invisible. Do you remember this?" Bach shakes his head again. "What happens if we lose?" asks Maya Lee, poking her head out from behind you. "There is nothing to lose in a simple game. I am no trickster. I simply wish to find some amusement while offering you some guidance." She glances at Bach and Maya Lee. "This game may aid in your struggles with wild magic." "Will it hurt?" asks Maya Lee. "No more than any joust would." She pulls back her staff and assumes a defensive stance. "You may use any manner to take the flower from my head. You may work together. You may stop when you wish. The objective is simply to learn." She pats her hand on her chest, and her skin hardens and dries into mossy bark. The three of you all glance at each other, waiting for the other to make a move. "Remember, we can't use spells," says Maya Lee, "or else the wild magic affects us." "I don't want to hurt her," says Bach. "I'm not a kid like I was before." The guardian waits silently, nearly camouflaged with the flowers. "What if you just talk to the flower?" asks Maya Lee, nudging Bach. "Oh, okay." He takes one deliberate step at a time, crouching low as he whispers in a soft voice and approaches the guardian. You watch the flower's petals bristle, but remain balanced on the guardian's head. Soon, he's standing right in front of her. Maya Lee grasps your hand, trembling a bit. Your palms are clammy and unnaturally cold. You straighten up, trying your best to look tall next to her. "Is that your first move?" asks the guardian. Yes?" The guardian raises her staff. "Then let us begin." She sinks into the ground like it's water, disappearing from your sight. Before you can react, she rises back onto the surface, right behind you. You spin around, shoving Maya Lee away just before the dull whack of the staff smashes into your ribs. You gasp all of the air out as you topple back and crash into the cushioned ground. Flower petals burst into the sky and flutter down to you. But as your head spins, you sense no real pain. In the distance, Maya Lee screams as you hear the crack of the staff. The flowers rustle as she tumbles to the ground with a thud. You lift your head in time to see Bach rushing in. He grabs the guardian's staff and reaches for the flower, but she immediately ducks her head and zips around him, kneeing his knuckles forcefully. The staff flies into the air and lands on the grassy bedding. The flower lifts off her head for a moment before floating gently into place, and she laughs as she dives under the surface once more, re-emerging several feet away now, staff back in hand. You crawl on all fours to Maya Lee, who looks more discombobulated than injured. She spits out a mouthful of flower petals. You're not sure how to go about this without spells. If she wants you to learn, then what else besides magic does she have to teach you? Bach charges at the guardian again, and you hear him laughing as well. This unbridled joy plastered on his face as he rushes in and she weaves around him, playfully swatting his hands away like some kind of choreographed dance. You can tell he's being careful with her. He towers over her, at least 2 heads taller. She whispers into his ear, and suddenly, he's no longer moving, instead watching her with this gleeful admiration. As you help her to her feet, Maya Lee dusts herself off and runs in as well. She digs into the soil and grabs a handful of dirt, chucking it at the guardian's head. The guardian waves her hands dramatically, raising both arms. Thick vines spring out of the ground, entangling your hands and feet. You hear Maya Lee yelp as her ankles are pulled down into the vines, and she falls onto her backside. The guardian steps away from Bach, who now appears dazed. She turns and points her staff at you, then dives into the ground. You have no idea where she'll reappear, but you tug at your limbs, barely breaking free. You twist around and sprint away. The ground begins to shake, and she erupts out of the earth before you can react. You scream as you fall backward, holding your arms protectively over your head. She whacks your hands with the butt of her staff. Time suddenly slows. Your surroundings turn to whirling colors. In your disorientation, you are taken back to the top of the hill, outside the mouth of the cave. Ernog is single-handedly fending off the elves. You call out to him. You know his scent, the salty sweat on his skin mixed with his leaking blood. The smell is forever embedded in your memories, even more so than his face. The feel of the air, the sound of the clashing swords, the wind. In your wolf form, you gained a new kind of awareness. The air shifts, and you know the guardian is about to lift her staff back into the air and whip it down on you. You shut your eyes and close your fingers around the staff. You can sense its magical essence barely held within its physical containment. Your ears perk up at the sound of her movement, shifting around you. She pulls, and you grab tight. You roll onto your stomach, wrenching the staff out of her hands. On all fours, you leap up to where you can smell her, a minty herbal scent. You lunge for her, unhinging your lengthening jaw. You can smell the fragrance of the flower, so pungent and earthy, like the air before heavy rain. Still holding the staff, she twists around and pushes you back to the ground. You realize your eyes are still closed, but you know exactly where she is. You snarl at her, the fur growing out of your skin, your fingers extending into claws, unable to maintain your grip anymore. You open your mouth and clasp your teeth around the staff, tearing it cleanly out of her hands. As you bolt away, you open your eyes again. The sun is bright, but the world seems almost muted in coloring. Everything, however, has a defined smell. You can smell Maya Lee crouched in the grasses, Bach in the distance. You turn around to see the guardian. She is watching you with both surprise and pride, and she smiles. She nods once and dives back into the ground. This time, however, you know exactly where she is. Under your paws, you can feel her movement. She's heading for Maya Lee. You shift directions and chase after her. She bursts out at the exact moment you predicted, and you pounce on top of her. Bach. You enter a trance. You can still hear Mock and Maya Lee, but they seem so far away. The soft scent of flowers fades, and your surroundings darken. Heavy boots begin ascending a flight of stairs. An unfamiliar door clicks and creaks open. The voice of Master Senos groans as he sets something down on the floor with a thud. A light flickers on, and you watch him saunter over to a desk, rubbing his temple. He slumps down into his chair and sighs. The room is windowless and would be empty if not for the few cabinets in the corner. Mr. Senos opens a drawer and pulls out a pouch and some sort of translucent orb, the size of his palm. He rolls the ball around on his desk and pours out the contents of the pouch. It's a lock of hair, your hair, tied together with string. Clouds begin to gather within the orb. It rises into the air, and he focuses his attention, waving his hands around, chanting with enunciated speech. Your vision goes black. "He's searching," a booming voice says in the darkness. It echoes within your chest. You don't recognize the speaker, but his presence is oddly welcoming, like he's known you for a long time. When he cannot find you or your companions, he will know you've entered the Feywild. I don't understand, you say. Laurel said he died. He is very much alive, says the voice. You must remain prepared and vigilant. Do not let him find you. How do I do that? The gods are watching. They are waiting to see who you become. You have been touched by the will of the forest. Your land, your home. You are its champion. By nature, the wildlands are not destructive. It merely seeks to survive. Do not fear it. Trust it, and its powers are yours to wield. Cold hands touch your head. You do not flinch. A wave of energy ripples outwards, as if a protective barrier has been placed around your mind. A calmness washes over you. Clear your mind of him. Let your heart be at ease. But how do I stop him? He is only one man. Hone your powers. Learn where you can. Though one of your companions has deliberately lied to you, they care for your well-being. When you are ready, I will speak to you again. You open your eyes, and you find yourself back in the field of flowers, the ground now overgrown with vines wrapping around your ankles. You tear your feet loose and spin around. A gray wolf pounces onto the guardian and pins her down. The density of the air rises. You can feel it beginning to roil and turn, the way it does when you're about to enter another fit of blind fury. This time, you're surprisingly lucid. Wisps of bright colors spin around you. They are vengeful. They are frightened. For the first time, you understand their true motivations. Underneath that overwhelming anger is a sense of hopelessness, a desperate plea to be rescued. Save us, you feel. Save us! Save us! Save us! You charge at the guardian, cutting through the lashing vines that grip your heels. The lights are spiraling around you, bolstering you with protective strength. You let out a full battle cry, similar to Ernog's, and the wolf's ears perk up to you. The guardian gazes at you with surprise, still pinned down. You can see her getting ready to disappear into the ground, and you extend your hands, grabbing her by the wrist before she disappears. You pull her out of the ground. She takes a swipe at you with her bare hands, hitting your chest. A shimmering force blocks her blow. You lift her by the waist above the ground so that she can no longer submerge. There is a sense of both worry and admiration on her face. As she squirms, you glance at Maya Lee, who's watching with both surprise and hesitation. She looks down at her hands, shaking her head at you. Take it, you shout. You tighten your arms around the guardian's waist. The guardian kicks you in the stomach, and you almost drop her to the ground. But the wild magic, she says. It's okay. You can do it. And as the guardian takes another swipe at you, Maya Lee vanishes into a cloud of fog. Maya Lee, you want nothing more than to leave this place. Ever since you arrived here, you've been suffocating under the intense air. It's like you're being smothered. The energy of the wild magic pricks every inch of your skin like needles. You've seen Bok's rage once before, his feral eyes and unrelenting bloodlust. You know him to be a gentle soul, which makes the stark contrast even more frightening. The power of wild magic and its ability to completely change a person. Every time you lose control, you wonder if you are giving away a part of yourself, like he is. Bok lifts the guardian up, holding her steady for you. The wild energies are swirling and concentrating around him. Bright, multicolored lights pepper the air, as if to devour all of you whole. You can do it, he shouts. There is authority in his voice, which you've never heard from him. He is not himself when he rages, yet right now he is a better version of himself, a commanding, confident presence, in full control of the power he wields. Shimmering forces radiate from his body, and you look down at your hands to see you have this too, and Mach as well. You are not at Bach's mercy, but under his protection. Your pants are snagged by the entangling vines, but you close your eyes and absorb Bach's swirling energy. You allow it to wrap around you, your body losing its shape and mass and becoming one with the air itself. You catch sight of the iris petals on the guardian's head, their energy pulsing with your heartbeat. You vanish. You are formless. You are wild magic itself. You are dancing between the seams of the weave, contorting and defying its seemingly strict rules. You have no purpose other than to shift and change and alter with its flows. Chaos, not a desire, but simply an outcome. The veil of the weave extends beyond the forest, this plain, and you see it all. The faraway lands yet undiscovered, a dark energy that outpaces yours, fighting for dominance over this land, creeping closer and closer to your home. With a flash, you reappear just above the guardian's head, the iris just within reach. You extend your arms, and your fingertips just barely graze it. The guardian grabs you by the wrist, but the flower petals sway in response to you, attracted by your presence. You close your eyes and let the tides of chaos flow into the flower, and as though it's being drawn in, it plucks itself off the guardian's head and hops into your palm. "Yes!" you cry. The next thing you notice is the ground, fast approaching. You crash and tumble into the vines. The iris is vibrating. It's sharp to the touch, almost like glass. You open your hand to find it glistening under the sunlight, transformed into a crystal shard. Bach gently sets the guardian down, apologizing to her. He's heaving, his eyes full of both surprise and jubilation. Mach, still in his wolf form, trots to you and sniffs your face. His wet nose tickles you, and you can't help but giggle. At the same time, soft hairs are tickling your chin. You brush your hands across your jaw, brushing away pure white feathers. You pull one out, and it floats up to your nose, tickling the inside. You sneeze, and all the feathers explode out, snowing onto your lap before disappearing. You burst out laughing, now uncontrollably. Mach topples down to the ground, first letting out huffs of air. As he shifts back to his true form, you hear that he, too, is laughing hysterically. The chaotic energies calm, dispersing back into the air. You hear the guardian approaching you, rustling the nearby grasses. She looks down, smiling. "Well done." She turns to Bach and pats him on the shoulder. "You are much stronger than before." Mach pulls himself up to his feet, the staff still in his hand. He shuffles to her and bashfully offers it back. "This is your gift," says the guardian, "for taking it out of my hands. This staff of the woodlands grants you powerful spells to use at your disposal." Mach's eyes widen. "Really?" She nods. "Channel them wisely." "I will." She turns her attention to you. "You have taken a shard of elemental essence. The gift of the earth will protect you." You turn it in your hand. This hardened crystal looks like an iris. Already, it is responding to you. "And you, child," the guardian says to Bach. "Your gift is the gift of your own will. I see you've been visited by another being who has shielded your mind. With this, you may finally sleep at ease." Bach pulls her in for a hug. He's on the verge of tears. "Can I use this staff now?" asks Mock. "I don't know how." The guardian pats Bach on the back and steps away from him. To Mock, she says, "Little wolf, you must attune to the staff. Its magic is alive. You two must be in sync in order for you to wield it." "How do I do that?" asks Mock. The guardian gazes at him with a look of pity. "No one has ever taught you properly how to make use of your gifts." She places her hand on his shoulder and touches the hooked tip of the staff to his forehead. She closes her eyes and speaks out a strange enchantment. It sounds like Sylvan, but a much more ancient version. It reminds you of the sound of ocean waves and swaying trees, the land itself. All at once, the staff sheds away its outer layer of hardened bark, revealing a vibrant green stalk. Sprouting out of the hooked end is the head of a large sunflower with vibrant yellow petals. It looks nothing like it did only moments ago. Mock's eyes widen as he holds it tight to his chest. This is the true form of the staff when it is in your hands. "You're attuned to it already?" you say. You rush up to him and touch the flower petals. You put your nose to it and sniff. It smells like the grasslands. "I think so," says Mock. "There's a spell in here that lets me track down animals." He glances at the guardian. "Can I use it to track down the others?" The guardian nods. "I believe there is an elder amongst your people. She is nearby." Mock nods. "Okay." He closes his eyes and whistles out a soft tune like the winds. The leaves and petals on the sunflower staff bristle, and the head begins to pulse. Mock opens his eyes and points to the southwest, towards a foggy area, dense with shrubbery. "Lasha is that way, not too far." The guardian steps back. "Take care, children of the wilds. Be well and grow stronger." Her arms unwind into spindly branches, encircling you. She hugs you all tightly. You wonder if you truly have the capacity to learn and grow. Ihi, the one you've been seeking for so long. Why did you reject her in your vision? She loosens her hold, taking a moment to examine each of you one more time. "Am I really a weaver?" you ask her. "Even when I lose control?" She maintains her smile. "You sense beyond what even I can perceive. With proper training, you can learn how to take advantage of the wilds. Now go. Before you can grow further, you must find a way out." You all rush ahead, following Mock's lead. As you run, you glance over your shoulder at the guardian, who continues to wave at you. Even without your eyes, you can sense her. You leap through the fog, your vision obscured, and you feel the guardian's life force sinking back into the earth, dissipating into the soil as nutrients for the flora.